Hey guys, Kawaii Critic here, and boy am I hyped for Digimon. Now for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty much of a Digimon fan as I am for My Little Pony. And Digimon has come back bigger and better than ever before with Digimon Try, Digimon Determination, and Digimon Try Confessions. Woo! And not only that, but the very first Digimon Try has actually also gained an English dub, which I didn't think was going to happen, but it did, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that, with the exception of the music, probably, because I already know that they threw that apart, but yeah, Digimon is coming back in full swing, and I really like the movie. Probably one of my favorite movies of last year, and also with Determination coming out this year, that was one of my favorite movies this year as well, following up really well with the first Digimon Try movie, and now we're going to soon have Digimon Try Confessions. Boy, are the movies of Digimon just coming out in this trilogy so far, is what I know it's going to be, is looking really good. Now, that's not all. Digimon has come in full swing, not just in movies, but for me, also the video games as well. The top video game that came out a little bit ago was Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. One of my favorite Digimon games, and a return to form for the Digimon games after the slightly disappointing, at least for me, Digimon World 4, the complete mess that was Digimon Battle Online, and its replacement of Digimon Masters Online, which is an MMO. Now, I do have plenty of issues with Digimon Masters Online. I want to make that very clear. I could talk about how the quests are just the same thing over and over again, and that the lack of story and just the repetitiveness of it all just gets really boring really fast. And this game, since it's still going, could have potential. It does always seem like its leniency towards being free to play and doing this whole paying to get things in the game, that whole mess is always going back and forth of whether or not those items are mandatory or whatever, but I've already talked about that long enough. Now, for those of you who don't know, I actually started my first channel talking about Digimon, and in fact, I talked about Digimon Masters Online and the plethora of issues I had with it. However, I think with Digimon Try and video games like Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, Digimon is well back on track. And for those of you who don't know, again, on my other channel, yeah, I started making this joke about Digimon vs Pokemon, the crossover fighting game that I've wanted to see ever since Digimon World 4. Which was a while ago now that I think about it. So, for those of you who don't know, I started a hashtag, when is Pokemon versus Digimon, on Twitter, of course, and it didn't catch on, since I was a small YouTuber. Makes sense. But, after recent events, I'm starting to see that more and more things are coming out that are making it really clear that there could be a legitimate desire for Pokemon versus Digimon. I mean, there's Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth that was made by Bandai Namco, and then there was Pokken, which was also made by Bandai Namco. Now, I actually tweeted at Bandai Namco directly saying, when is Pokemon vs. Digimon? Of course, I was joking, but I don't know. After seeing that Pokken and Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth were made by the same group, or at least the same brand, or whatever whatever Bandai Namco, the company or whatever you want to refer to it as. I find that really, really intriguing. I mean, when you have things that are now crossing over into each other through other means, being now Tekken, which is now like this weird enigma almost of having both Digimon and Pokemon both within that realm. I mean, I don't know if Pokken is technically in the same quote unquote universe as Tekken. I would really appreciate that because that would make Digimon versus Pokemon really, really easy to make. Now, I know there was a death battle, and yeah, I give my shoutouts to Death Battle for doing the whole Pokemon versus Digimon death battle. And that's a crossover video game that hasn't happened yet. Some of the other fights that has happened on Death Battle already have games that cross over these characters sometimes. So, in the spirit of that, I would really like to see a Pokemon versus Digimon crossover fighting game. Now, I already know the issues going into that, being that that's still a collaborative effort, on top of, yeah, Digimon do come across more overpowered than Pokemon. And to be fair, I think there is a way to balance it out really easily. Both of these, at least from the video game perspective, both share a very similar rock, paper, scissors type of balancing between elements. As far as I knew, for the longest time, Pokemon, at least in the video game realm, had way more elements going against other elements of what was strong and what was weak against what. And Digimon, as far as when Digimon Masters Online came out, that finally evened up the playing field as far as the whole elemental part was concerned, at least for me. So yeah. Now, the other issue with that being the evolutions of Digimon far surpassing Pokemon, as even now, even with Pokemon adding in their Mega Evolutions, which I don't know enough about. I don't know if they're temporary or if they last a long time. I just don't know enough about them to really grasp what that whole deal is about. And I don't even know if it applies to all the Pokemon yet. But I think one way to solve this overpowered feeling for Digimon is to give Pokemon a little bit more of an edge first, and then announce a Digimon versus Pokemon fighting game. It would make sense. Now putting my focus back on Digimon exclusively, I think the future is bright for Digimon, and I think, regardless of its, whether people think they're competing with Pokemon or not, I've seen some people making videos joking about Digimon Go, because Pokemon Go is a thing that exists, and it's only that has only added fire to the already existing flame between these two entities. And I think there's enough differences and enough similarities at the same time for both Pokemon and Digimon for a crossover to actually make legit sense. Now, I could go into a whole separate video talking about their histories and where they are now, and to be kind of a little bit honest, I'm kind of seeing Digimon, at least from what I'm seeing, being the superior overall thing now, which is really odd. I mean, for the longest time, Pokemon was ruling over Digimon, especially when it came to the television programs. Based on the network Digimon was originally on, it couldn't possibly compete with Pokemon on that level. No, the video games is another story because you have to consider the Japanese audience as well as the Western audience, and the Japanese audience is clearly the bigger market for at least Digimon. Probably could say the same for Pokemon. Again, I would have to do that research first, but I already kind of understand that Digimon's more of a Japanese thing. So that makes sense, at least for Digimon so far. Um, so yeah, it's interesting how fairly recently that's changed, or at least it feels like it's changed. I don't know if the money thing is still like heavily leaning towards Pokemon, and like I said, I could compare the shows, comparing Pokemon's easy formula and comparing that to Digimon's slightly more complex formula. I'm not gonna deny that Digimon also had a formula, it just also happened to have really great characters that developed, changed, and grew as characters. And their formula was actually kind of simple: good versus evil Digimon battling Digimon. Pretty simple stuff on the surface, but again, its shows were usually considered better as far as character, as far as stories, and now probably even as animation with the Digimon Tri release. So, yes, now it seems, or it appears on the surface, that Digimon has finally overtopped Pokemon. Again, only speaking from a surface level, with just the amount of stuff that has come out fairly recently, only within the last year, from Digimon Tri to the video games, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, to the following up of Digimon Tri. It has just been crazy, and there are plenty of other games that came out aside from Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and Digimon World 1 through 3 were really popular, but probably never even close to the amount of popularity that the Pokemon games got. And what was so interesting about the Digimon games, at least for me, is that every entry of Digimon World still mixed it up. That is rare. Uh, I'm just saying, it's just so baffling that you have so many games that then their sequel comes out, people complain that it's the exact same thing as the first one. And you have something like Pokemon, which people just eat up. And regardless of whether or not it's the same or not, and to be honest, I couldn't weigh in on that particular notion, as I've only played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which to me is very similar to Digimon World 2, I believe it was. Um, so, yes, again, just on that surface, it just feels like for the longest time, it was just so one sided. And this went on for like, I don't even know how many years of Pokemon just always releasing these two games and having that series that everyone watched. And then now we're starting, at least I'm starting to see a flip on the script where people, you still have Pokemon Go, but that thing, it skyrocketed, sure, but now it's sort of like, I don't know. Uh, and you have games like Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and you still have, even with the issues it still has, in my opinion, Digimon Masters Online. There's just so much to consider here and now with how much more Digimon has been relevant. Even I don't remember which year it was, but the Digimon show started appearing on Nickelodeon, and I believe it also appeared on Disney for a short while. I could be misremembering if it appeared on Disney or not, but I am certain it appeared on Nickelodeon, which probably really helped boost Digimon's numbers. Again, I would have to do the research in order to see if that's how accurate that really is, but they are able to pretty much show most of Digimon the first 2 seasons and then carry on to the next seasons and then even come all the way up to Cross Wars. That's crazy. And Digimon has really been, at least again recently, been more prevalent as far as I can see on the surface, the superior overall show. And again, that could just be an opinion as of right now. I haven't done enough research to state if it's based out of money, if it's based out of overall popularity. Stuff of that nature hasn't been done quite yet, but I still think overall Digimon's future is still going to be bright regardless of where it stands right now. I mean, you have 3 movies that have come out within 1 year of each other. You have apparently 3 more movies that are going to be coming out. Ooh, that is a lot more Digimon to take in right now. And yeah. So again, I'm so hyped that Digimon has finally, again, on the surface, has finally surpassed Pokemon in all its regards. So I guess I'll be doing my research and seeing how accurate that really is. But for now, if you like this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm Kawaii Critic, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!